Then she saw her doll near her in an armchair, sitting propped up by cushion, and his legs stuck out and staring at her like a real person. It wasn't her wind-up doll. This was a large doll with a paste head, curly hair, and enamel eyes, and a stare that she sometimes found uncomfortable. In the last 2 years, as she dressed and undressed her, the head had become scuffed on the chin and cheeks. The pink limbs, stuffed with brown, had started to look lanky and gangling, like a flabby old underclothes. At the moment, the doll was in her nightwear, wearing only a vest, her arms dislocated, one pointing up and one down. Then Shani, feeling there was something with her, was briefly less miserable. She caught hold of her and squeezed her very hard, so that her head swung back and her neck hung loose. And she chatted to her. She was a very well-behaved doll. She was kind. She never went out and left her all on her own. She was her treasure, her darling, her sweetest doll. Shaking and still holding back her tears, she covered her with kisses. This fury of kisses assuaged her feelings a little. The doll fell back in her arms like a rag. She stood up and looked out, her forehead pressed against the glass. The rain had stopped. The clouds from the last downpour had been carried off by gusts of wind, were moving across the horizon to the highest heights of Père Lachaise that were hatched in grey lines. And against this stormy background, and illuminated in unvarying bright light, Paris assumed a solitary, gloomy grandeur. It seemed empty of people, like those cities in nightmares you see in the reflected light of some dead planet. Of course, it wasn't a pretty sight. In an abstracted way, she thought about the people she had loved in her life. Her oldest best friend in Marseille was a large and very heavy marmalade cat. She would catch hold of him under his tummy, squeezing him in her little arms. She would carry him like that from one chair to the next without him getting angry. Then he had disappeared. That was the first bad thing she could remember. After that, she'd had a sparrow. It had died. She'd picked it up one morning from the bottom of its cage. That made two. That was not counting the toys that broke just to annoy her. She suffered a great deal because of the unfairness of it all, although it was silly of her. Especially one, a miniature doll, drove her to despair when it let its head get crushed. She had been so fond of it. She had even buried it secretly in a corner of the yard. And later, with a pressing need to see her again, she had dug her up and made herself sick with fear when she found she was so blackened and ugly. It was always others who stopped loving her first. They broke or they left you. Well, anyway, it was their fault, but why? She did not change. When she loved someone, it was for life. She could not understand why they went away. It was a terrible thing, monstrous. Her little heart broke when she thought of it. She shuddered at the muddled thoughts which were slowly dawning on her. So one day they left you. You went your separate ways. You did not see them anymore. You did not love them anymore. And as she contemplated the immensity and melancholy that was Paris, the passionate 12-year-old felt chilled by what she divined about the cruelty of life. Meanwhile, her breath had missed over the glass again. Missed it. Her breath had missed it over the glass again. She rubbed away the film that prevented her from seeing anything. There were brown reflections of distant landmarks, washed by the rain, in the glass. Rows of houses, clean and distinct, with their pale fronts, looked like underclothes hung out on a line, like some colossal washing drying on fields of rust-colored grass.